Did you know that somewhere in the deep woods of America, there's said to be a figure that wears a burlap sack over his face, with nothing underneath but a void where a human should be? Locals call him the Baghead. Welcome back to Horror History, where we bring you stories that crawl under your skin and stay there. Don't forget to share with someone who loves urban legends. Tonight, we're diving into one of the eeriest American urban legends you've probably never heard of, the Baghead. At the end of the story, would you still dare look under the Baghead's mask? A faceless stalker said to appear in abandoned highways, cornfields, and forest trails across the United States. But who or what is he? And what happens to those who see him? The legend of the Baghead stretches back decades, whispered among campers and small-town residents from the Midwest to the rural South. Most stories describe him as a tall, gaunt man wearing a dirty, old burlap sack over his head, 2 holes cut for eyes, sometimes dripping with dark stains. Some say the sack hides a horribly burned face. Others insist there's nothing underneath at all, just darkness. Truckers have reported seeing him standing by lonely roadsides at night, his head slowly tilting as headlights pass. By the time they look again, he's gone. Like most urban legends, no one knows for sure where the story began. One theory claims he was once a farmer who lost his family in a tragic fire, a man who went mad from grief and wore a bag over his head to hide his guilt. Another version says he was an escaped patient from a rural asylum, hiding his disfigured face while hunting for victims in the woods. But the most terrifying version, that the Baghead isn't human at all, that he's a manifestation of guilt and grief itself, drawn to people burdened with secrets they try to hide. Those who have something to confess are said to see him first. There's a story from Kansas in the late 1980s. A teenage boy named Alex and his friends were exploring an abandoned barn outside their small town, the kind of place kids dared each other to enter. Inside, they found strange carvings on the wooden beams, handprints, claw marks, and the words, "He watches in silence." As the sun began to set, they heard it, a dragging sound across the barn floor. Alex turned his flashlight toward the back wall, and there he was, a tall figure, shoulders hunched, wearing a tattered coat and a sack over his head. The bag moved slightly, as if breathing. Alex froze. Then the figure tilted its head. The next thing Alex remembered was running, tripping, scraping his knees, and not stopping until he reached the road. When police investigated the barn the next day, they found nothing. No footprints, no man. But on the wall, in fresh black paint, were the words, "I saw you too." After that story made the rounds, similar sightings began popping up across different states: Ohio, Texas, Alabama. People driving alone at night claimed to see a man standing by the edge of the woods, face covered by a bag. In some cases, he appeared in the middle of the road, forcing cars to swerve off. When drivers got out to check, he'd be gone. Reddit threads and paranormal forums still tell stories of the Baghead appearing on back roads or in cornfields right before storms, always standing perfectly still, as if waiting for you to look at him. Folklorists believe the Baghead is more than a ghost story. They think he's a symbol of the things we hide from ourselves. The bag, rough, dirty, and suffocating, represents shame and secrets. The faceless figure, a reflection of guilt that has consumed its identity. That's why sightings often come from isolated people, loners, the guilty, or those grieving something they can't let go of. It's said that if you meet the Baghead, he doesn't need to speak. He just stares. And in that silence, you feel everything you've tried to forget. There's another story, one that surfaced online in the early 2000s, known as the highway tape. A police dashcam from a deserted highway in Arizona supposedly captured footage of a man in the middle of the road. He stood still for several seconds before turning toward the camera. He wore a burlap sack, 2 dark holes where the eyes should be. When officers reached the scene minutes later, the man was gone, but a small piece of burlap was found on the asphalt. The dashcam file mysteriously disappeared from police archives within a week. Only a few frames leaked online before being taken down. To this day, no one can confirm if it was real or part of the legend spreading into the digital age. The Baghead remains one of America's eeriest and most mysterious figures, a reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones created by guilt, loss, and the things we refuse to face. So, if you're ever driving alone on a back road and see someone standing still in the distance with a bag over their head, don't stop, don't look, just keep driving. If you enjoyed tonight's eerie tale, hit subscribe for more chilling legends from around the world. And tell me in the comments, would you have the courage to look under the Baghead's mask?